Hi there. Today I'd like to talk about communication. In other words, how do we find out about things happening at Smith Crossing? And how can we improve those methods of communication so that everyone gets the message in a timely manner? I know that this presentation is going to seem a little basic to some of you, but I'm trying to get my fellow residents to actively think about all of the ways we convey information here, and to share your thoughts about what's working and what isn't working. After this PowerPoint presentation, we'll have a free-for-all discussion to get your ideas, and we can also share some of the comments from the survey we sent out. Speaking of communication, remember that it's supposed to travel easily in all directions, from staff to residents, from neighbor to neighbor, and from residents to staff. And of course, your family members need to be in the loop too. Let's start by asking, what do we mean by Smith Crossing news? Well, we can talk about four main categories of news. I'll call the first category scheduled activities, including events that happen daily, weekly, or monthly. That covers things like book club meetings, Move with Mary, trips to the supermarkets, shows, and casinos, and evening entertainment in the community hall. The second category is nice to know news. That includes things like Emily's Store promotions, the annual pumpkin judging contest, new staff photos, the 3-day weather forecast, the door decoration competition, and the daily cartoon. The third category is food-related information. Examples include the menus for the bistro, oak room, and main dining room, a record of your food points and the point targets for the month, food forum meetings, and special occasion dinners. The fourth category is urgent or emergency notifications. That includes severe weather and tornado warnings, flooding in the garage or a leak from the sprinkler system, security lockdowns, fire alarms, or personal health emergencies that require a visit from the paramedics. Obviously, some news has to be communicated right away. Other news is less important, but you want to have it at least a few days early so that you can make plans. And some news, like monthly activities or food menus, can be posted and left available for long periods of time. So, how do we get information at Smith Crossing? In no particular order, we use these methods. Number one, face-to-face communication. This is undoubtedly the most entertaining way to send and receive information. It all starts with Cara and Mike, the sales staff who guide us through the apartment hunting process. And then after the move, we meet with Carol Galassi, our welcoming ambassador. Face-to-face communication also includes resident council meetings, monthly forums, and talking with your neighbors in the bistro. The second method of communication is by paper documents. That would include our monthly activities calendar, the weekly menu printout, and sign-up sheets for trips. Note that we are making an effort to reduce the amount of paper used at Smith Crossing. And since we have almost 200 residents, that's a lot of paper. Third is our local access cable channels, including channels 3, 4, 36, 64, and 95. There are also two other channels, one dedicated to assisted living and another for skilled nursing and Greenleaf. Amanda has been working with staff to standardize the type of information displayed on each of those channels. Here are the current categories for each of the four independent living channels. Channel 3 is for daily activities and last-minute changes, as well as events upcoming within the next week or so. Channel 4 is for most other news, for example, advertisements for Emily's Store, parking lot construction, beer tasting, ice cream socials, and the joke of the day. Channel 36 shows what's happening in the community hall. The sound is normally turned off except for public events. Channel 64 is for food-related events and menus. Channel 95 will eventually have community photos, Emily store info, and information for new residents. Number 4 on the list is K4+, which is great for both immediate and long-term communications. I'll be talking more about that in a minute. Number 5 is CareFeed. CareFeed is a new service primarily for staff to handle healthcare and clerical functions. It does have basic messaging features to communicate with residents and their families, but so far K4+ has better information storage features. Method number 6 is long-term signage. Examples include the emergency exit signs, wall plaques showing a map of Smith Crossing, and signs showing where to locate a range of apartments. 7th is your PHB, Personal Health Button. Back in 1990, the TV commercial with a lady calling out, "I've fallen and I can't get up," was amusing to some people. Well, it's not so funny anymore. The PHB can literally save your life in an emergency. And finally, there are automated alerts, text messages, emails, and phone calls. This is actually a handy feature provided by CareFeed, and we experienced a recent example during the sprinkler pipe leak. So those are the main methods of communication at Smith Crossing. Now, I'd like to highlight one of them in particular, namely K4+. We believe that K4+ can eventually become your one-stop shopping source of information at Smith Crossing. And when I say we, I mean with management approval, as well as the members of the computer clinic. Now, I'll be honest, K4+ is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, especially if you're not comfortable with electronic gadgets. The survey results indicate that there are almost as many residents who prefer paper communication as those who prefer electronic. There are no plans to take your paper away, only to reduce the amount. So even if you're hesitant about using K4+, we hope that you will try it. So let's briefly talk about K4+. It's an app, a software application that the IT department can download and install on your smartphone and your computer. After installation, IT has to enter a special code that customizes the app just for you. The first time you open the app, it will show the home screen. From there, you can get to 32 other pages of information about life here at the crossing. This organizational chart is way too busy, and the print is too tiny to go through it in detail, but I will point out the top levels of navigation. The home page leads to What's New and a library of useful resources. There is a search feature helping you to find a specific topic. Then there is the Events page that leads to a list of various activities. The dining category is also pretty self-explanatory with all things food related. And finally, there is the More category. Currently, it shows the directory of residents and staff, along with the option to share your K4 app with your friends and family. Well, let's look at a couple of pages in more detail. This is what the K4+ home screen looks like. By default, it shows a list of what's new, and if you scroll down far enough in the What's New category, you can see every active document that was posted over time. Your own personal dining points are shown at the top, and if you tap on that image, it will show you what points were deducted and when. Very useful. All sorts of information are posted in What's New, including activities and menus, but note that this listing is not organized by topic. You can find specific topics a lot more easily by navigating to the relevant category. As I mentioned, you can scroll down to see older news, and you can also click on an item to get more information. The K4 dining screen looks like this. Here's an example of a daily special in the bistro. Under the heading Menus, you will find daily specials for the bistro and the main dining room. Under the heading Dining Info are all the other menus, as well as the monthly dining point targets. Well, I think that's enough to give you a bit of the flavor of K4 Plus. As we think about all of the ways to communicate at Smith Crossing, I hope that this has sparked some ideas about how to improve. We have a really beautiful home here at Smith Crossing. I took this picture at twilight a couple of days ago, and it made me think of all the advantages of living here. The food, the friends, the activities, and the long-term safety and security. But anything can be improved, and we can make positive changes to the way we communicate with your help. Let's not be like Ernestine